Good morning, all. Uh, Today we'll just get into practical stuff and then we'll try to learn a couple of Unix basics, Unix commands, and then we'll move on to HTTPS commands. So as we were discussing yesterday, when you have Hadoop cluster, irrespective of which distribution it is and where it is, to access Hadoop, generally we need the Hadoop one of the node IP address. You can choose any one of the node, or if you are looking for administration, you may ask for master node IP address. Whatever it is, once you have your IP address, say this is where my Cloudera is running, and to access it, I'm going to access this through putty, and where I have given the IP address of this system. And as a beginner, as I told yesterday already, as a beginner, when you open your Cloudera, so you have two options to practice. One is once you go to Cloudera system, which is running on your VMware, you can go to terminal and then you can start typing. Even you can access this. Whatever you are using, this is also a terminal. But in the real time, you may not have access to this kind of terminal, which is like directly accessing the Cloudera machine. So this is the reason. Even you can better start practicing from now itself how we generally do it in the real implementation. So if you look at, I'm just trying to find it. Since I need to access to this Cloudera or Hadoop machine from outside world, and I'm trying to find out the IP address. So generally this information will be provided by your administrator, but since here we are the one all in one, so I'm just getting into accessing into this system. So once you note down, even in your machine also you can do the same thing. You open your Cloudera, we already discussed how to open Cloudera and all that stuff. And now you can just pick up this IP address and then you can just put it over here, or you can even save your IP address, or if it is already saved, you can directly double click. And the default username of your Cloudera is Cloudera only. So now we just access the Unix machine. Say when you say this is my Unix machine, say for example this is where this is my machine, and this is where Linux is currently working on. So this is a Linux operating system, and from my laptop using putty, and by giving your IP address, we are accessing to your Linux operating system. So going further, whenever you log into this Linux, and that I will be calling as a local, because right now I'm no way talking about the Hadoop here. This is a simple machine, and I'm able to log into that. Similarly, if you want to connect it to n number of machines, say for example, I have some other machine. Say I want to log into other machine. So this is completely a different machine, and this is completely. So all are right now connected with. Even in case you have like 20 or 100 node cluster of Hadoop, and if you want to pinpoint or connect it to one particular IP address or one particular node, so you can connect. So here this IP address is different, and this is a different machine, and then here it is a different machine. Uh, like this, you can have 100 nodes also, and if you are planning for a cluster, So all these 100 nodes must be part of network, and then your installation must be on the same. Maybe in the future sessions I will show like how a cluster works. Okay, right now when you look at the single machine, when you look at the open VMware, so VMware it is being executed or running on your single machine. So you will have a single node, but this is my different system where I have a Hadoop cluster running on couple of nodes, and later on I can show you how multiple nodes and how they interconnect and all. So this is another real system. So I'm just getting out from here. So once maybe in any particular day I can show you the clusters and all that. Okay, so now I got, so now if you go to terminal and then what do you do? If you go to here, what do you do? Both are same for now. But your putty will have some benefits in terms of typing, accessing and all that. So always I go for putty. If you want to open n number of connections, also you can open. Right now I'm going to open one more session of the same. But if you see the one previously I have connected, that is a different node. This is a different node. So when you are logging to Hadoop, you can log into any one of the node, and because in all the nodes you will have your client software will be running, you can access it from anywhere. Um, but from for administration point of view, we generally have to get the IP address of the master, because all your services will be running there. So now I got connected to Unix. Now it is just plain Unix. So on top of this Unix, and we already have Hadoop software installed, but right now I'm nowhere talking about this Unix. Sorry, Linux. So right now, not Linux, HDFS. So right now there is a HDFS already installed, but if you are not interested in HDFS, and you can feel like you are completely untouchable to HDFS. This is HDFS is already there. Hadoop is already there. So since your Hadoop always runs on your Linux operating system, including HDFS, MapReduce and everything, so we must have little bit of Unix knowledge over here. So Unix is very bigger, but I'll tell you couple of commands. Maybe in a regular Hadoop classes I'll go with detail, but here I'll give you very few commands. I just listed out what are important for us. So, okay. So we'll take go through them one by one. Okay. So now here, once you log into Unix machine, if you want to, first thing, if you want to know system name, or sorry, IP address, you can use ifconfig. It will give you IP address. In case you have multiple network drivers, it will show what are the IP addresses associated with your system. So ifconfig will, this is equivalent to IP config in your machine. And in the same way, if you say host name, and if you type host name, this host name is going to provide you what is your current system name. Generally in your Windows, your system name, what you provide in the same way, this name is your host name. And generally this host names information will be provided, all this information will be provided in one folder called so anyway, these commands I'll explain later, but since we are talking about this, I'm just going to mention. So generally, in one of the folder, etc host, and this is the system where we generally provide this names and all that. And in case you want to know what is the user currently who logged in, you can use who am I. And host name, who am I are very important. Because in future when you are logging from one IP to another IP or from one login to other login, we will be switching over many times. So who am I will give you the current user. Currently, what is the user right now you logged in. Okay, so and if you say who, it is going to give the list of all the users currently connected. They are all basic things. Okay. Now, in order to see what are the list of files currently you have, so right now I am in one particular directory, and I just want to know uh, what is that, what are the files we have in that folder. The folder structure in Unix always it is followed like this. Uh, Always starts from the root directory. This is called root. And under generally in Windows, always it is going to be C, D, E drive. But in Unix, it is going to be everything from the root. You can represent it with this symbol. And under this root, there will be a lot of folders. And the naming convention of Unix folder system is your. If you want to see list of all the files in your directory, so right now somewhere we are. If you just type ls, it will give you list of all. And if you say ls-l, it is going to give all the information. And here out of which you get a lot of information. So right now I use ls-l, most commonly used command. So this is your file name and the time when it is modified and what is the size of your file and the group name and then owner name, sorry, user name and then the group name, and then these are the permissions. So these permissions generally represents like read, write, execute. So when you look at this complete information, and you will have three sets here: read, write, execute, read, write, execute, read, write, execute, and these three. So these permissions are relevant to user, means owner, and these permissions are relevant to groups, and this is for others. Means a person who created a particular file, and for that particular user, what are the permissions you can have? So read, write, and execute, and group. Let's say, for example, have like there are three people, and for these three people at a time, I want to give a permission on a particular file. So you can make these three people part of one group, and then you can give a permission to group. So who are part of that particular group, so these permissions are applicable to them. Read, write, execute. And others means like anyone else, like no matter irrespective of the owner or the group, and these permissions are applicable to everyone. So generally read means you can also only the read. Write means you have editable permission. Execute means in case in Unix generally executables are mostly shell scripts. And in case you want to develop a shell script and you want to execute them automatically, and you should have a executable permission. Even if you don't have executable, there is a different way. But if you want to make it a program executable, you should have executable permissions. And this is all your set of permissions. And who is the user, owner, who is the group, permissions, and all that. And the first character here represents whether this is a directory or a file. So the first character, if this represents as D, then it is going to be referred as a directory, because you will not see any color or anything here. So D means it is a directory, and if it is empty, blank means it is a file. So that way you can understand what is the file. So now when you say ls normal L, it is going to give the file sizes like this. But if you use the H option, it will give you sizes in a human readable format. You can see right now everything is, previously it was just only bytes only, but now we can see what is the size of your files and all that. So this is 30K, 33K. In case you have any MBs and then megabytes, even you will also get all that information. So ls hyphen l h, these are the common thing. And in case you want to display files in a reverse order of the time modified, you can always use hyphen ltr. This is one of the very commonly used. ls hyphen l always give you list of detailed information, whereas ls will give you only just the names of the files and folders. But this will give you detail. But when you say T, it is going to display the files or folders in terms of the time accessed or created, and R stands for recursive. So whenever you use T and R combination, it is going to display files in a ascending order. Latest files are going to be displayed in the top bottom over here. So if you have so many number of files, mostly we prefer showing the latest files in the bottom. So this will be very preferred command. If you only use T, it is going to display in a descending order. Your latest files will be in the top. So, but when your page scrolls down the top bottom, you will see only older files here. You may not be liking that. So always this is the better option, and H will give you human readable format sizes. And right now, if you see, when I say ls hyphen, let me give you L. So there are some couple of commands we got it. But if you use A, it is going to give you the complete. Previously, see, there is a total 328 only, but now you can see 576. When you use hyphen A, it is going to give all hidden files in Unix, and hidden files in Unix are represented with dot. Say for example, uh, currently in the previous, when I use normal ls, you can see there is no file or folder with dot here. But when I say hyphen a, it is displaying everything. So if you see config, gconfig, iv2, so they are all not available here. So hyphen a will give you the hidden files as well. ls hyphen a, ls hyphen h, all these things you can use it. And when you are using ls, it is also possible to provide pattern matching. Say for example, we have file, I want to display only files which are starting with a, and this is your wildcard, and I just want to search with files starting with s. You can see these are starting with s only. So this wildcard pattern star represents any character, and say for example now you can see currently here when I say a star, this is one file, this is one file, and this is one folder. Within that folder we have a couple of other stuff. Now if I am looking right now, I just want to display only files which are starting with s, and I should have only one character, anything, and then I just want something. You can see, yes, question mark represents any single character, whereas star represents any value. So this is very common. You might be already knowing. So Unix also supports while called pattern matching, whereas star represents any character. So this is how you can display your files, and even sometimes you can also use this sort of. Now if you see, A small difference you can notice. When I say ls icon ld star, it is giving me only the folders within immediately in our directory. So this is S, this is S, this is S. But when you say star without D, okay, you got it. This one here also, this one also here. But SBT Spark it is a folder, but within that there are some other files also. So under SBT Spark, whatever sub folders or files we have, it is also displaying. But in case you are looking only directories within that, then you can use this option. You can just notice a small difference. So now currently to know in which directory we are in right now, so you can type pwd command, which will give you what is your current location and all that. And in case you want to create one new directory, we can say mkdir, and then let's say I am giving one directory name, let's say ds116, and now if you type ls, you can see, so there are a lot of files showing up here. But if I want to cache my recently created file, if you use LTR, it is very easy, okay, because it is going to display in ascending order the latest file in the bottom, so I can easily cache it. That is the advantage. So there is a folder created right now here. And currently we are in this directory. And now if you want to move to that particular directory, you can use cd command and give your folder name. Now you can see. And now pwd this one. Now ls, there is no files at all here. And now if you want to go back, you can just say cd dot dot. You can see. If you want to go back one more folder back, you can say this. And right now, ultimately we are in this root directory. So we cannot go beyond that one because that is the starting point. Now you can see under root directory, when you install Linux operating system, depends on your version of the operating system. You see mostly the similar kind of folder, but some versions may have a different. But this is the folder structure it follows when you are installing. And at the same time, if you want to know what is the version name of your system, you can say uname. It will give you the just operating system name, and if you say uname -a, it will give you complete information about version, bit, and all that processor information, everything you are going to get. So overall, if you want to know current directory pwd, if you want to create a new directory, you can just give anything. And if you want to go back to particular directory, you can say cd. Or if you want to go back to back, you can go any number. And if you want to know the name of the version, you name -a. And now if you want to go directly to this particular folder, even I can say path, I can go. This is basic. Now, if you want to create a file, say for example, we are in some particular directories and then I want to create some file. In Unix, when you go to touch, it is going to create a dummy file. Say for example, right now I am in one particular directory. So when you say touch a.z.txt, it is going to create a 0-byte file when you use touch command. And this command, this z.txt file does not have any information. Say in case you want to add some content, maybe if you are not comfortable on Unix, one of the way what you can do is, when the same information you can also access from here. Say for example now, when I go to Cloudera here, in case you are not comfortable on Unix command, you can also go to here. You will get a graphical browser here, and right now I just created one folder DS116. You can see that here, and say now you want to transfer a file here. So I just created a file using the touch command there, but now I have some files I want to transfer. Say for example. And right now I am in Unix Windows, and I am going to transfer this file to, yeah, I can directly transfer. But this facility you may not have in your L system, but as long as you are in Cloudera, you can transfer your file from here to there. Now you can see that file name here. This is one way. Or this is only available in your package. But in case you want to really transfer from files from other system to your machine, say in normal case you have some file and then you need to transfer to the Linux machine. So this may not be always available. When we have a graphical access to this one, then we can transfer it. Otherwise, we need to transfer using different softwares called FTP software. So here I'm just showing one example. I'm using one software, FTP software called FileZilla, and similarly you can use WinFTP, WinSFTP or anything. And here I can just connect it to my host name. So now it is connected. So this is where I have the right side one is my Linux machine, and the left side one is my local machine. And if I want to transfer any particular file, okay, so I have some sample data for customer churn prediction. I'll just take this. You can give your path here, and you can just simply transfer files from here to there. Under Cloudera, we have these three files. I'm just transfer. So this is one of the way you have to follow to transfer files from your machine to Linux. And this is again manual, but in a real situation, if you want to transfer, I can develop a small shell script here. Within that, I can write some FTP commands which are supported in Unix, and those FTP commands can help you to transfer. Means you need to write some scripting. If you want to do it automatically, you can write some scripting. If you want to do manually, you can graphically connect and then do it. It depends on your requirement. So now, if I see the location, I can see what are the files we have here. So this way you can create a file here itself. That is a dummy file I created. You can create a file from outside and transfer it, and manually or through FTP. Different ways are there. And in case you want to view data of these particular files, there are various commands actually. One of the easiest command is when you say cat, it is going to display your data from your file. The complete information it will give. It will not stop, it will keep scrolling and then you will get it. But if you want to see the data in a proper page-wise manner, you can say more, then it will show you page-wise pages. And when you say Q, you will come out from there. And clear is the command will clean up your screen. And this way you can view the data from your files. Even we can also use a command view. Okay, and but to quit we need to have some command here. So view and the more, and then even depends on your Linux operating system. There will be a lot of other utilities also. We can use Vim, gvim, and gedit. So many things are there. But the basic command you must know is cat and more. So now when you have a file, now say I just created a file z.txt. When I go to cat and I can only see this file here. There is no content. But if you want to make small changes in a file, say now I want to make some changes in EMP. So if you are layman to Unix, one of the way is go to Windows and then make changes in that particular file, and then again FTP or copy. But if you are comfortable, there is an editor called VI editor, and when you open this VI, when you say file name with VI, it is going to open your file in a editor mode. So here you can do lot of edit operations. So I am just creating a new file through VI. Let's say a.txt I am giving. So now when you open anything in a VI editor, if you want to start typing something, so immediately when you type now, it will not accept. So you have to tell VI editor that I just want to be edit something in the file. To mention that, first you have to press I. So then immediately what was showing here will be disappeared. Then your file is in now edit mode. So you can just start typing. So I just made some content here, and to save it, now we need to go out from the insert mode, and that can be done by typing escape. So now if you press escape button, so now you go out from the edit mode, and to save this file you can say colon. So you just need to go to keyboard and then press on colon, and immediately, since whenever you are in escape mode, means that is a normal mode, and when you type colon, that will be displayed, added in the bottom. So when you say W, it is just going to save, and but you will be still here only. And when you say Q, you are going away, means you are going to quit. But if you want to save and quit, you can both together you can use it. So now if you see, we have a file a.txt. You can see that. And in case you want to go back, and so mostly at least everyone must have a basic VI editing knowledge. So that small changes if you want to, you can do here. But even nowadays a lot of editors available you can do normally. But if you want to go traditionally legacy mode of Unix, if I want to delete, let's say for example, I am typing something. I want to delete this line. So you can say DD, it is going to delete it. And so if I say 2DD, it is going to delete 2 lines. The many more things are there, and that's okay. And maybe if you are really interested, my previous videos you can refer. You'll get lot of information out there. So this is a VI basic information you can edit here. Okay. Now in VI, once you have file created or through any other mode, and anyway just now you have seen how to display the content and all that. And when you are using cat, it is going to display complete content for us. And if you use cat with the multiple file names, so now I am saying cat star.txt. Here also it supports a while called pattern. So it is going to display complete what are the files matching with this pattern, and it is going to display content from all the files. Say for example now I am just stating p1.txt. So when I say T1 and T2, it is going to display the result over there. When I can say one and it will display okay the serial number for us, and it might be there in this release. They are not supported here. So X is supported in other Linux versions. Leave it. So now you can also display what are the contents coming over there, and then also you can say what is the number, the line number of that. So in case you are looking any certain information here. And also whenever you are trying, say right now I have some content in the first file and then second file. So this result I want to write to another file. So previously preparation of the files, if you see one of the way you VI editor you type transfer from outside. So now this is another way. So now the result is coming onto the screen. But in case when you want to transfer this result to another file to create it, you can say redirection operator. Now you can see there will be one new file created. So this new file will have data of both lines. And if you use again the same redirection operator, it is going to create again the same file. But this file is already present, it is going to overwrite this file. So even if I see cat your file name, you see the same result, because the result of this command is 2 lines only. So it is going to override, the content is going to be created onto file. The file is already present, it is going to override. But in case if you do not want to override and then you want to just append it, you can use double redirection. Now if you use cat command, it is going to show both of them, like previous one, and then the double redirection will append the data, single redirection will override the data. That is from the redirection operator. So sometimes it will be very important. Okay, say for example I have some file. So all these file names I want to write to another file. The simplest way is ls, and this output I can redirect to. There is a file created, and when you say file names, it is going to display list of all. So any screen output you want to redirect, you can use less than operator, sorry, greater than. And less than will read the content of your statement into your execution. Maybe when you have some commands in your file to be executed, so we can also sometimes use less than, but very rarely. But most of the times now you see this is the file you can, this is the operator you can use to create the or redirect the content of the standard output to your file. In any case, and for whatever reason you want to convert it. So that is the redirection operator. Now, say for example, now I'm just going back to this file which is just now created here. So whenever you, in case you want to display only few lines, let's say when you say header icon 1, it is going to display only that particular line, means first line it is going to display. And if I say head icon file name, so now it is going to display first line. And if you want to display from the bottom, if I say two lines, it will display two lines. If you want bottom lines, you can use take. And so right now I want to display only first line. So I can say head icon 1, head icon 2 will give you two lines. But within this I want the one line, the bottom line I want. So whenever you want to combine more than one Unix command, and we have an operator called pipe, and this pipe operator can combine one Unix command result with another Unix command. So the first Unix command is giving me this result, and but now I am using whatever result you get from the first command. On top of that, I am planning to apply another command, tail icon 1. So we will get the second one here. So we have two things, head command, tail command, and also pipe operator. So pipe operator in Unix will combine more than one Unix command. The first command result with the second command, and then even I can place one more also here if I am looking something. And the head, tail and all. And similarly, here when I say cat a.txt, it can also help to sort data. When I use sort, it can display the data in a sort order. So previously this is the order. Now you can see your data is sorted here. And while sorting itself, if you want to display only unique, okay, you don't want complete duplicates, you want to eliminate duplicates. If you use icon U, now you can say banana, banana double time. So banana is completely displaying only one time. Cycle, cycle only one time. So sort will only sort icon U will make a unique. Similarly, there is a unique command also. So generally unique command also will eliminate the duplicate, but if you see the difference, cat a.txt, this is the data. But when I say unique, one thing we can see that there is a double cycle, there is only one time cycle, but there is a banana and banana, but still banana, banana double time. So when you use unique command, it will always expect your data in a sort order to eliminate the duplicates. So in this case, this is in order. So identified as a duplicate. So it is making one, but this banana still not in order. So it is still showing as a. But provided we already know some pipe command. In this case, I am just using sort icon a.txt pipe unique. Now you can say before for unique I am giving an input of sorted. Now you can see this unique is displaying banana. Even one good option is even it can show with the D option. It can also show only duplicated records. This is also, and even if you say C, it is going to tell you every record how many times it is getting repeated. And even when you see this one, it will tell you every record how many times it is repeated. Okay, so sort, unique, head, tail, these are all typically data processing command. For the data processing guys, it is very, very important so that it will make your life will be easy in data processing. And similarly, we have a command called grep. say for example cat, we have a.txt, but here I am only looking for a particular value, that is like banana. You can say grep and then your file name, it is going to give you what are the line. Even grep hyphen grep hyphen v when you use, it is going to do a reverse. So the records which are not satisfying here. Even I can also use hyphen n. It will tell you the line number along with what is the file, under which file you have that value. So I am using V. So they're all non-banana records and their line numbers. So 2, 3, and fourth line is banana. And then, yeah, but if I use without n, so 4, 8 or the banana lines. And even I'm not sure whether it supports here or not. Okay, here it is. If you use X, and it will also give you file name along with. Very useful command this one. When you have a lot of files, when you are loading, mostly in data processing, you are loading multiple files into one target table. Maybe you may have sometimes same record present in multiple files. Individually, when you look at a file, you may not have a duplicate, but multiple files making them duplicate. So in this case, it can help you in which file and which line the similar line particular value is there. So these are all basic file operation commands. And if you want to delete a file, you can just say rm minus. You can just say rm and you can give a file name. It is going to delete it, but it will ask you whether you want to remove. You can say yes. But if you want to forcefully delete, you can also say rm minus f. It is forcefully delete. That completely gone. And if you want to copy a file, emp.cp. If you want to move a file, you can say move. Say I am going to create one more directory here, and then I am going to say d1, or I want to say copy this a.txt to d1 directory. Now if I say let's d1, you can see there is one file, and I am say d1. Currently I am in d1. I can say less, there is a file. So now I want to delete a directory. So we can use rmdir, remove directory, and then directory name you can give it. And rm, whenever you use rmdir, it is going to delete a empty directory. So now if I want to use this command, I need to go to, say for example, I am just saying mkdir d2, and now if I say d2, gone. But I cannot delete the non-empty directory. So, but in case if you still want to delete, you can say rm minus f. Typically going to delete something. But since it is a directory, by using option recursive, it is going to clean up everything. Now you see, you will not find out any directory. D1. It is deleted D1 along with their subfolders and their content. It is very dangerous to use it. But this command, mostly whatever commands we are discussing now, the same commands we will have in HDFS also. So that is the reason here itself I am focusing on that. Okay, so these are the basic commands, and let me check if anything is. So if you want to know what are the processes running on your machine, you can use ps-af. Say right now in Windows, if you want to see what are the services running, you can use go to services.msc and I can see. But when you go to Linux, you can say ps-ef, and it will show list of all the services currently running it. I mean, since there is a big list, it is scrolling. So I can say ps-ef more. You can see one by one. Currently, what are the services running? You can see there are many services running related to Hadoop Cloudera. Yarn running, HDFS running, everything is running as a service. HBase running, Hive running, Scoop running, Impala, everything running. So I want to check whether Hive is running or not. So you can just say grep Hive. You can say, because we already know these commands. So ps-ef will give you list of services, and grep is going to give you a complete list of all the services which are having containing Hive, because grep is a filter, so it is searching only for the Hive part. So this type. And also you want to see the size of your disk. There are two things. One is DF. If you use a DF, it is going to give partition wise what is the size we have. And if you, in case you want to see the DF size in a human readable format, you can see these are all your partitions in your Unix system. Same way, if you want to display your, let's say for example, I am in a root directory. If I want to display the size of all the files, okay, the moment when you say du, it is going to go give complete list of all the files and folders, everything. Under this root directory, what are the files and subfolders we have, and all of them it is going to be displayed with human readable. Or if you go to a particular directory, and also I can use it within my directory, what are the files we have, their sizes it is going to be. So this is all the basic Unix command, and there is a very Unix is a very big ocean, but what are the minimum things we need for the new comers, and this I try to cover. I am still okay. If you have any questions on this, you can let me know. But now I want to move on to the HDFS part. That is what actually my focus. And because like these are the all everything we are going to work on. So here now onwards we'll be talking about the HTML. So right now we know basic Unix commands to have or to adjust some teething problems in basic stuff. So now first of all I need to know whether Hadoop is running or not, or whether things are installed or not. We already know one of the command ps-eaf grep Hadoop. Because when we install, most of the things like we will have a lot of folder names with the Hadoop. So even sometimes if you don't get anything with Hadoop also, that's okay. But Hadoop is a complete technology stack, but within that there are a lot of services. Out of which HDFS is one of the service, that is for file system. And similarly Yarn, in the older version it was a MapReduce. This is also service. So this is how I can check whether they are running or not. And whether Hive and Spark, everything is running. If you are getting some response, it is running. Sometimes even if you don't get response like this, also it might be running in a different way. Right now, but you can see that everything how it is running here. But currently in Cloudera, everything is running as a service over here. Now, first thing is when you install, because right now so far we are only talking about this part, the blue one. So now slowly I need to get into this, and I verified, confirmed that Hadoop is running on the machine. And right now when I log into this, When I log into this and when I use the Unix commands, it will only give the commands or information related to that particular. So right now I am using putty, and from there I am connecting to this one. So if I see any files ls, or if I create a file that only talks about this blue color piece, but in case you have two machines, if you connect it to this machine, it will only give the files of this particular system. But in case when you install HDF Hadoop software, so this Hadoop can be distributed across n number of nodes. So when you talk about this HDFS file system, that is a single file system for entire system. When I log in here, when you go and transfer a file to this using FTP command like which I showed you in FileZilla, the file will be either transferred to here if you are transferred here, or if you give this system IP address, it will be transferred to here only. Means all the files right now which are created are only available in Unix. So that is the reason I told you earlier. I will be calling this as a local file system or local. But when I refer HDFS, that will be a single file system which is across entire system. So I verified that HDFS is running, and now to know where this HDFS or in which location it is running and all that. So if you say Hadoop simply class path, it will tell you all your Hadoop software libraries are available in which location. This is all your. So mostly my Hadoop software currently running on this particular machine. When you take the software, the major core components are HDFS, as we already know, and MapReduce or Yarn. Now it is Yarn applicable. Hive, and even Yarn we can also say MapReduce, because the core MapReduce will be as it is. Yarn will be a framework on top of this one. These are all core, and the rest all will be many more things will be there. So for every service, when your Hadoop is running, and there are certain configuration files, and these configuration files will be available on your machine where it is installed. So that is every guy must aware or know where these configuration files are available. So generally, when you talk about the HDFS, you will see one file called HDFS-site, and any configuration related to HDFS will be given in HDFS configuration file, and all this information about HDFS file system related will be available in the form of if you are using Apache Hadoop, you can directly open this file and edit it. But if you are using Cloudera, you can change these parameters through Cloudera Manager. And even if you do changes manually here, when you restart your Cloudera Manager, it is going to override all this information. Means when you change this information through Cloudera Manager, that information will be separately kept in its own repository. Whenever it starts Hadoop services, that configuration is going to be made available to all the nodes which are available. So the reason why they avoid making the changes manually on this file is, say for example, when you are deploying in the same configuration in n number of nodes, problem is that if you forget to change configuration in one of the nodes, so then you will have a inconsistency. That is the reason it avoids changing the configuration through manually from the file system from here. You can do it through Cloudera Manager. So when you do through Cloudera Manager, it will store its in own repository, and whenever you are starting new stuff, and it is going to keep all that, replicate this information into all the nodes. And even if I still change here work, but when you restart Cloudera Manager, this is going to be overridden here. And for all your permissions, replications, all that information is going to be there in your HDFS site XML. The core site XML will have generic information which is required for entire Hadoop system, not related to HDFS, and which is generic information will be there in your core site XML. All the security, configuration and all that, which is not specific to one particular stack or all. And similarly, we have configuration file for map reduce, all basic information only. But we must know that where this information is there in the troubleshooting point of view, they may help. And most of the times when you are, if you are using Cloudera, this is the basic configuration file. And when you go to here, you can see yarn also, that is for yarn. If you are interested, you can go and explore or refer my previous videos to see. So that is your configuration file, and this is your library. So we must aware all this information. So library means all your software binaries are available in this particular library. And config was there in the previous system, and all your libraries, Hadoop, every software which is installed, that is available over here. And when you are running your MapReduce Hadoop, it is going to use the libraries from here. All these libraries are installed through Cloudera Manager onto this particular machine. So for Cloudera people, this is something the different. Mostly there are high level two folders. One is for configuration purpose. One set of folders will be there in Cloudera. It talks about all the this configuration. And the second one is the libraries. Then the actual stuff is the third folder. Very critical folders in Cloudera. 1, 2 and 3. So this one will have all the runtime information. Generally, every change which you do in a Cloudera manager, and that Cloudera manager, it will replicate all the configuration related information into this particular folder. If you look at everything, whatever is running, and including the Spark, everything, all that you can see. So this is where exactly we'll find out all the logs and the configurations, everything. It is going to utilize this information from this folder. That is the reason this folder is very important. All the PID. So whenever the PID means, it indicates that this is running right. All the runtime configuration will be in this folder. If any guy planning to learn Cloudera, he must know this one. This folder, this folder, this folder, this. Okay, so anyway, mostly for administrators who are planning to troubleshoot for all of them, it is very important, but now we can come back. So, Hadoop class path was helping me to identify where it is running and all that. And now if you want to know what is the version of the Hadoop running currently, you can say Hadoop version. So right now I used only two commands. One is Hadoop class path. Provided Hadoop is installed on your machine, you can find out very people who are writing the code, for them it is very important. When you look at Hadoop version, you can see Hadoop 2.6 and CDH 5.8. So Hadoop 2.6 is the base core version of Apache Hadoop taken by Cloudera, and then they have added extra mask with their version of 5.8. So Cloudera 5.8 is our version, and our Hadoop version is 2.6. And this is so if somebody asks which distribution, which version we are working, so Hadoop 2.6 is the version. Still it is a 2.x, and Cloudera 5.8. That is the version. If you just type Hadoop, it will tell you what are the basic commands associated with this Hadoop, and then what are the things we can do with the options. Okay, these commands we can discuss tomorrow, and this will be purely Hadoop, and from now onwards we will be only in Hadoop side only, and then we will slowly get into this Spark, ML and all that. So this is all what we have done so far. It is a prerequisites and then some basics